talk through some of the most common snag issues you might find with a Camera Smart Pro installation. And just kind of talk through the guide and just describe what you might find whenever you're testing something. So just looking through System Hub, the first one you might find on the listing is the PVR isn't reporting on the tracking unit. So when testing the PVR playback function, you might Google portal and it doesn't display any videos. This can be due to a PVR not being linked to the correct asset. So to solve this issue, we can navigate to your Pro Hub and make sure that we have the correct PVR linked to the correct asset in the test. So that's as simple as going to your Pro Hub and selecting the asset. You just search for one example here. You put the right asset and navigate to PVR. Within this, we should find the right PVR. Just link it to this and it should then work in the tracking portal. The next issue we commonly find is the configuration or firmware applied to the unit. So when testing and the playback function doesn't display either the cameras in the correct orientation or the right sort of angles for install, this could mean it's either got an incorrect configuration or an older version of the firmware. So the resolution to this then is to update firstly the firmware to the latest and then apply the relevant configuration that matches what the customer spec was on the order. So we do this, and there's a guide for the System Hub as well. Right click and the device upgrade and attach to the latest firmware. And once that's completed and done a restart, we then send file and apply the correct configuration. Next issue you might find then is that either the GPS and GSM antennas have been incorrectly positioned. So this could show on when testing this intermittent connection or even very little data on the SIM usage. And as I say, without the correct antenna in the right place, it won't connect properly to the network. So the solution is basically the install photos, and if the engineer's taken a good photo, we just double check when they're in the right position. If not, contact the engineer that's installed them and ask to revisit to make sure they're in the right connection. And then we test on the engineer on site to make sure everything's working as it should. Another issue you might find then is that the SIM is being capped or the profile not properly set. So if the PVR isn't reporting live, this can be either the SIM cap or the say profile not set on the Bluetooth portal. To check if the PVR is capped, we navigate the CMS and right click. And we go to our 3G full config. And here it will tell you if we have any remaining data. It should show up as red if the SIM's been capped. All we need to do is up the daily limit. This example would be 2000 and save, and that will reset the PVR and barrel cap. Here on that, we want to navigate to the Vodafone portal, and on this, we want to double check that the setting we applied correctly when it's on the correct profile. So log into the Vodafone portal, we'll be checking to make sure it's the same that the SIM is active live, and that it has either a 500 or 1 GB setting on the profile for the PVR SIM. Next, then, it could be the instance where we have a blurry picture of the PVR ID when testing on Nexus. So in this case, I do have an example. You'll see it's in a Word document, which shows that we usually want the last 5 digits of the serial number, but this is hard to differentiate what the numbers are. There's a resolution to this. We want to either ask the engineer to resend if they have a better photo of the install or request that they revisit to get us this information. But like this, we don't know what unit to assign to what asset. We customer about a DVR in use. Next issue we come across is that the camera might simply be out when on install. Now, there are 2 things to try in this instance. First, we try to upgrade the firmware and configuration. It could be that maybe the 4th channel is showing because we disable this in the config code. Fail on this, we need to inform the engineer to revisit and send out a replacement camera to get reattached with the vehicle. Next issue you might find then is the camera on the wrong orientation. So this means that they're basically not facing the right direction. To say this can be resolved by amending the config. For example, if we need a 180-degree split or they only need mirrored, we can do this on the configuration tool by right clicking on the asset, the CMS, and we're going to send file and send in the correct configuration where it's right. If it's not possible, we use at a 90-degree angle, we could ask the engineer to revisit and re-amend physically. So cameras in the wrong positions is slightly different than the one above. This correlates to having them in the correct installation sequence. So, for example, a forward-facing camera might be on the wrong I/O preference, or the blind spot camera might not trigger correctly because the configuration hasn't been built in for the way the camera is being installed. So you can, as I say, either amend the configuration to read a different I/O on the back of the DVR to a different camera, or if it's too complicated or isn't going to work, you can always get the engineer to revisit and correct the channel orientation. And then lastly, the hard drive not important. This will come up when you're testing the DVR on either CMS or the portal. And when we go to test the playback function, there should be a solid period when the engine is running and the vehicle in use of footage. But if there's nothing recorded on the hard drive, this can mean that the hard drive itself is faulty. So in this instance, we need to advise the engineer to need to replace the hard drive, and then we should be able to retest and ensure the playback function is built as standard.